She was everything they wanted. Flawless, curvy, untouchable. Millions followed her every move. But when her wedding turned into a public execution and the internet watched her break in real time, only one question remained. How much of yourself can you sell before there's nothing left to save? The ring light flickered to full brightness as Cardi P leaned into her phone camera, adjusting the angle just slightly to capture the perfect glimpse of her neckline. Her voice rolled out like silk, playful and low. "Hey babes, I missed you." Within seconds, hearts, fire emojis, and drooling faces swarmed the screen. Over 4 million followers, and they were all locked in. Some had their sound turned up under the covers, others screen recorded, hoping for a slip. She gave them just enough, always just enough. Her smile was practiced, equal parts mischief and mystery. She knew exactly how to tilt her chin, how to pout without looking desperate. But beneath that flawless glowing face, her heart was tired, her throat dry from faking flirtatious laughter. This wasn't just attention anymore. It was business. Ruthless, relentless, demanding business. Cardi P wasn't just an influencer. She was a commodity. Her inbox overflowed with requests. Some wanted birthday shout-outs, others offered thousands for a private view. Those ones, she handled them off the grid on WhatsApp. One-time links, limited access, no names, no strings. Rich married men, foreign clients, a few local celebrities with verified accounts but fake names. She'd perfected the art of making it feel intimate without ever crossing the line she swore she'd never cross. No touch, no face in public, no repeats. They called her the ghost tease. She called it easy money. If they are willing to pay for a 3-second clip, why should I starve? She often told herself. Morals were blurry when rent was due and your image paid more than a 9-to-5 ever could. Her phone buzzed. Another alert, 150,000 naira. Payment confirmed. She sent the link, a pre-recorded soft tease, careful to never show her full face or say names. It would vanish after viewing, always did. They never got to keep her. That was the rule. But tonight felt different. Her smile didn't quite reach her eyes, though no one watching could tell. Something in her chest felt cracked, and she didn't know why. Then came the sound of a key turning in the front door. Her heart skipped. James. He stepped in, suitcase in hand, wearing that one grey hoodie she secretly loved. "Hey, superstar," he said with a small smirk, closing the door behind him. She ended the stream mid-laugh, pretending it was an accidental disconnect. "I didn't think you'd be back till Saturday." She moved quickly to shut down the lighting setup. She kissed him, guiltily, softly, hoping he couldn't read the unease in her chest. "I missed you," he said, pulling her in. He didn't scroll much, didn't care for apps, didn't watch her lives. It was both a relief and a curse. They ordered in, talked about his trip, and curled on the couch like any ordinary couple. But Cardi P couldn't shake the tension dancing behind her eyes. She was exhausted from pretending, exhausted from building a kingdom made of glass. Then James reached into his jacket pocket. "I was going to wait," he said, voice a little shaky. "But I can't." He pulled out a velvet box. Her breath stopped. "Stella Monroe. Will you marry me?" The box opened. A simple but radiant gold ring shimmered in the dim light. Her eyes filled. Her chest ached. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, James." He slipped it onto her shaking finger and kissed her again. And just like that, the life she had lived behind the screen, the secret deals, the fleeting thrills, felt like poison in her throat. She wanted out. She wanted a clean slate, a real life, a name untainted by lust and likes. She decided in that very moment, as his arms wrapped around her and her phone buzzed quietly from under a pillow, she was done. Tomorrow, she would delete everything. She didn't know yet that some shadows don't disappear just because you close the app. The morning after the proposal, Cardi P sat on her bed, barefoot, wrapped in James's hoodie, her laptop open beside her. The ring on her finger felt both heavy and hopeful. She scrolled through her hidden Telegram folder, the one with fake names and cash receipts. Then she paused, hand hovering over the delete button. She stared at her reflection in the black screen for a moment. The eyes that once sparkled with thrill now looked worn, the kind of tired you couldn't glam up. She took a breath and clicked delete. The folder disappeared, gone.
Next, her second phone, the one James never touched. That one held the keys to her shadow empire. WhatsApp messages, private transfers, short video clips, her entire payment system, all gone in minutes. It felt like yanking an IV out of her arm. There was a hollow rush of fear, followed by something she hadn't felt in years, relief. She tossed the second phone into a drawer and slammed it shut. She was done. The past was over. She had James now. A real life was ahead of her. Wedding in 4 weeks, dress fittings, church rehearsal. She would finally become Stella Monroe again, not Cardi P, not the fantasy. She grabbed her regular phone to text her wedding planner, but the screen blinked as a message slid in. Unknown number. You thought I forgot. She stared. The contact name was gone, but the tone immediately familiar. Another ping. One more night, or your groom sees it all. Her heart stopped. A buzzing sound filled her ears. Then another message, a video file, .mp4. She tapped it with trembling fingers. The preview alone made her stomach churn. It was her, topless, laughing. That hotel suite, the one in VI with the grey velvet curtains. She had recorded it, thinking it would vanish after 30 seconds. She never saved anything. She never left traces. But apparently, someone else did. Then came the audio message. She pressed play. Stella, or should I say Cardi P, you thought I forgot. I told you, I like collecting fine things. One last night, clean and simple, or I hit send. To James, to his pastor, to your brand sponsors. Try me. It was Damian Ross. Her blood turned cold. Of all the men, of all the ghosts she thought she'd erased, he was the one she underestimated. He had paid the most, spoken the least, and vanished without drama. She assumed he was done. Old money, older secrets. But now, here he was, in her phone, with a file and a threat. She dropped the phone on the bed and paced. No, this can't be real. She had cleared the phone, burned the backups, blocked everyone. Her mind raced. Delete the message, block the number, report him. But what if he already had James' contact? What if he had already sent it? Her chest tightened. She sat on the floor, knees pulled to her chest, fighting to breathe. Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't cry. Not yet. This couldn't happen. Not now. Not after she changed. Not when her life was finally making sense. She picked up her phone again, scrolled to the message, and read it once more. His tone was calm, confident, the kind of man who had nothing to lose, the kind of man who would enjoy her destruction. Her hands shook as she tried to compose a reply. You said you deleted everything. He responded instantly. I lied. Another file arrived. This time it was a screenshot. Her bare shoulder, her name in the corner, her voice in the audio background. Undeniable, devastating. She clutched her stomach, suddenly nauseous. James must never see this. The wedding was in 31 days. 31 days to walk into a church and swear her life to him. 31 days to pretend none of this existed. But Damian, he was back, and he wasn't bluffing. Cardi P didn't sleep that night. She lay next to James in silence, her body still, eyes wide open, replaying Damian's message in her head over and over again.
One night or your groom sees it all. That wasn't a threat. That was a promise. A line she never thought she'd have to face again, not after everything she deleted, everything she swore to leave behind.
At 3:16 a.m., her phone vibrated softly beneath her pillow. She turned it over with trembling hands. Another message. Damian. "TikTok, Cardi. I'm waiting." She blocked the number, then unblocked it 5 minutes later. What if blocking him provoked him? What if he sent the video out of spite? What if James was already watching it right now in his sleep-cluttered inbox? Her chest tightened as a single thought gripped her. This is how it all ends. The next morning, Cardi sat alone on the bathroom floor, knees pulled to her chest, the tiled walls cold against her back. Her engagement ring glinted under the fluorescent light, but it didn't feel beautiful anymore. It felt like a warning. She'd promised herself a clean break, a new life, a fresh chapter. And for the first time, she had something pure to protect. But Damian knew that, and he was using it. Her phone buzzed again. Damian Ross. "You can still save what's left of your little princess life. One night, just you and me. Hotel as usual. I promise no cameras. I just want to say goodbye, properly." A video popped in beneath the message. Not even 10 seconds long. Her face clear, her body unmistakable, her voice soft and breathy, calling his name in a moment she barely remembered. She hadn't seen that clip before. He'd kept it all this time. She wanted to scream, but James was home. He was in the kitchen making pancakes. He trusted her. He was humming. The sound shattered her. At 5:47 p.m., dressed in black jeans and a low-cap hoodie, Cardi told James she had to meet with the wedding planner about last-minute changes. He kissed her forehead, told her to be safe, and reminded her not to overthink things. She said nothing. The ride to the hotel was quiet. The streets blurred past the windows, Lagos traffic buzzing with its usual chaos, but everything around her felt numb. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. Her breath stayed shallow. She hadn't worn makeup. She didn't want to look beautiful for him. She just wanted this nightmare to be over. Damian was already waiting for her when she arrived. He opened the hotel room door without a word. His smile was smug, casual. He wore a cologne she used to like. Now, it made her stomach turn. She stepped inside, barely breathing. She didn't sit, didn't speak, just said, "Let's get this over with." "You've lost some spark, Cardi," he chuckled. "Marriage would do that to a woman." She didn't answer. He poured himself a drink, then reached for her hand like they were lovers reunited. She flinched. Afterward, she got dressed quickly, no eye contact. She stood by the door, bag in hand, waiting. Damian zipped up his trousers and buttoned his shirt slowly, like he was savoring the moment. "You're free now, Cardi. I won't bother you again. Promise." She didn't believe him. She left without replying. Outside, the sky was turning purple, and rain clung to the wind like sweat. She walked for a while before calling a ride, wiping her hands again and again on the inside of her hoodie, as if that could clean her. When she returned home, James was asleep on the couch, the TV still playing an old action film. She tiptoed past him, went straight to the bathroom, and scrubbed her skin until it burned. She stared at her reflection, eyes red, mascara-less, soul hollow. She had done what he wanted. And now what? Now she hated herself. She curled into bed next to James and wrapped her arm around him, her face pressed into his back, as if she could hold on to something good before it slipped away like everything else. She had protected him, but in doing so, she had lost a piece of herself that no one, not even the internet, could ever see. The hall was glowing, lit in gold and soft champagne, like a dream filtered through heaven's Instagram. Laughter bounced between crystal chandeliers and clinking wine glasses. Cardi P stood at the center of it all, dressed in flawless white, her gown hugging every curve like it had been sewn by angels. The lace shimmered across her chest, her back exposed just enough to whisper elegance, not scream it. Her bridal hairstyle, sleek ponytail curled at the end, adorned with pearl pins, was picture perfect. Phone cameras flashed from every corner. Guests kept murmuring she looks like a goddess, while others whispered about how lucky James was. Even her mother, who had once begged her to leave the internet life, smiled with a mix of pride and tears. For a brief moment, Cardi allowed herself to believe she had made it through. She had survived the past. She had won. James reached for her hand across the table, brushing her knuckles with his thumb. He looked at her like she was the only thing that mattered. She smiled back, hiding the war inside her chest. Damien had kept his word, or so she thought. There had been no texts, no messages, no leaks. Maybe, just maybe, he was really gone. The MC tapped the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, the couple has prepared a short appreciation video for everyone who stood by them. Cheers erupted. The lights dimmed slightly. Heads turned to the screen positioned directly behind the couple's table. Cardi's stomach tightened. The projector lit up. The first few seconds were black, a flicker, then sound, breathing. The screen flashed to life, and there she was, Cardi P, not in her gown, not in a wedding dress, but in lingerie, on a hotel bed, her face front and center, her hair, the same bridal ponytail with pearl pins, bobbing as she leaned over a blurred figure. Her lips moved, soft gasps echoed from the speakers. There was no mistaking it. Not a look-alike, not AI, not deep fake. It was her. Unfiltered, unblurred, undeniable. Gasps shot across the ballroom like a wave. Someone dropped their glass. Another guest shouted, "Jesus!" Phones flew into hands, not out of defense but curiosity. People started recording. The air turned electric with disbelief, confusion, judgment. Cardi's mother stood screaming. Her knees gave out as she grabbed at the tablecloth, eyes wide in horror. "No, no, no," she wailed. Her father just stared, his lips trembling, face pale like he'd seen a ghost. James didn't say a word. He didn't scream. He didn't look at the screen. He only looked at her. And it was the silence in his eyes that destroyed her. The betrayal that poured from his expression without him speaking a single syllable. He stared long enough to burn a scar in her soul. Then he stood, walked around the table, and left. No words, no second glance, no ceremony. He just walked out. And Cardi P couldn't breathe. The room blurred, lights spun, her knees buckled as everything inside her gave way. The sound of gasps dissolved into a dull ringing in her ears. She reached for something, anything, but the table slipped from her grasp and her body crashed to the floor. She didn't hear her name, didn't hear her mother's cries, didn't hear security trying to shut down the projector. She didn't feel the camera flashes now aimed at her collapsed form in a white dress that no longer meant anything. She only felt one thing: exposed. Fully. Completely. Unforgivably. Not just her body. Her soul. The secret she buried. The sin she paid for. The past she tried to silence. It was all back, screaming louder than ever in front of her parents, her groom, her God. And the worst part? This wasn't a mistake. This was revenge. As her vision dimmed, she thought of Damien's last words. "You're free now." But this wasn't freedom. This was death in slow motion, with everyone watching. The beeping was the first sound she heard. Sharp, steady, clinical. Then the weight. Heavy on her chest, heavy on her limbs. Her eyelids fluttered open,
greeted by harsh white lights above and the pale green hospital ceiling. The air smelt of antiseptic and something bitter, like iron and despair. Cardi P blinked slowly. Her lips were dry. Her head was spinning. Then the memories came rushing in like a broken dam. The ballroom, the screen, the video, James walking out, her collapsing. Her throat tightened. She tried to sit up, but a dull ache gripped her temples and the IV line tugged her wrist. A nurse entered, saw her awake, and called for the doctor. Cardi didn't hear what was said. The room had started spinning again, not physically, but in her mind. All the noise, all the voices, the shame. "Where's my phone?" she croaked. The nurse ignored her question and asked if she remembered what happened. Cardi nodded, tears sliding sideways down her cheeks onto the pillow.
Later that afternoon, her mother entered the room. But it wasn't the woman who used to pray for her at 5 a.m. or help her thread her eyebrows before shoots. This one's face was stone. Her eyes were red from crying, but there was no love behind them now. Only grief. Grief like someone had died. "You have disgraced us," she said quietly. "Mommy!" Cardi tried to speak, but her mother raised a hand, trembling but firm. "I told you, I warned you, I begged you to stop chasing that filthy lifestyle, but you wanted to be famous. Now the whole world knows who you are." Cardi sobbed silently, choking on her breath. Her mother dropped an envelope on the side table. Inside it were the bills from the wedding hall, the florist, and the now cancelled honeymoon package. "Your father says we should no longer carry your shame. You're an adult. Handle it." She left without another word. The door shut softly, but it echoed in her ears like a slammed gate. For 3 days, James didn't call, didn't text, nothing. Cardi stared at her phone every hour, every minute, praying for a notification that never came. She typed 100 messages and deleted them all. On the 4th day, her name was trending again. Hashtag Cardi P exposed. Hashtag Wedding Leak 2025. Hashtag God when turned into hashtag God why. The blogs went wild. She was never the angel she portrayed. Influencer ruins wedding with leaked sex tape. Brands distanced themselves from disgraced internet model. Her face was plastered everywhere. Her crying screenshot turned into a meme. People edited the wedding footage with clown music. Others recorded fake reenactments for views. She checked her email. 6 brands had already withdrawn endorsement deals. 2 more politely asked her to remove any content linking their names to hers. Her Instagram lost over 800,000 followers in 5 days. The comment section turned toxic. "You deserve this. Where's your dignity? Clout finally caught up to you. Omo, you played yourself." She turned off the phone, turned off the lights in her apartment, closed the blinds, and stopped answering the door. She didn't eat for days, just laid on the bed in the same hoodie, hair unwashed, eyes swollen. The ring James had once slit onto her finger sat on the nightstand like it belonged to another woman. She deleted all her videos, all her reels, all her TikToks. She deleted Cardi P. But it was too late. The internet never forgets. And now, no one wanted to remember her for anything else. Cardi P sat curled on the floor of her apartment, back against the wall, wrapped in a blanket that still faintly smelled of lavender and James. It had been weeks since anyone knocked on her door. She hadn't posted, hadn't spoken, hadn't smiled. The silence that once felt like peace now pressed off her chest like a weight she couldn't lift. The walls around her were lined with memories, glamorous portraits, PR packages, influencer plaques, frames with gold-trimmed borders, all now draped in dust. She didn't recognize the woman in the photos anymore. The flawless face, the calculated pose, the surgically controlled angles. Cardi P, the girl who could own a room with one wink through a screen, was gone. She opened her cracked old phone,
not the one she used for shoots, but the one she hid her real life in. Slowly, she scrolled through old selfies, one with the Eiffel Tower filter, her lips pouted just right. Another with her Starbucks cup, grind never stops, in cursive caption. Then videos laughing in the back seat of a Benz she didn't own, pretending to be on her way to a business meeting that never existed. She looked at herself in those moments, and for the first time, she didn't see power or beauty. She saw a girl begging to be seen. A girl selling pieces of herself for a dopamine hit. A girl who wanted love, not likes. And in teasing one, she had destroyed both. Her hand moved to a drawer. She pulled out a sheet of paper folded from the edges, the top already damp with tears she hadn't yet cried. She uncapped the pen and began to write, her fingers trembling, her chest hollow. To the girls who follow me. She paused, staring at those words. They used to make her feel invincible. Now they felt like a mirror. I'm sorry I showed you the wrong things. I'm sorry I made you think this life meant freedom. I sold you filters and loneliness. I showed you luxury, but I lived in fear. I told you to love yourselves while I hated everything I was without a camera in front of me. If you are reading this, please, stop before it's too late. You don't have to become a brand to feel beautiful. You don't have to take off your clothes to be wanted. I've lost everything chasing attention, and now, I don't even know who I am. She dropped the pen. Her eyes, dry and numb, drifted to the small green bottle on the table beside her. Rat poison. She had picked it up 3 days ago from a roadside vendor who didn't ask questions. For rats, she said. Big ones. He smiled and bagged it like it was gum. She kept it in a brown envelope under the sink ever since, just in case. Today was that case. The world had watched her rise. Now they had watched her fall. And she was tired of being the content. No wedding, no man, no family, no future. She wasn't Cardi anymore, just a deleted account. Her hand reached for the bottle, then paused. Her phone buzzed on the floor beside her. She stared at it like it was a ghost. Another buzz. She picked it up. One new message. From a name she didn't recognize. You don't know me, but I saw your story, and I just wanted to say thank you. I was about to post something I'd never come back from, but your pain made me pause. Your truth saved me. Cardi blinked. The message was short, simple, unbelievable, but it cut through the fog like sunlight. Her grip on the bottle loosened, and for a second, she hesitated. Then she slid the phone across her lap and pressed open camera for what she knew would be the final time.
Cardi P sat in front of her front-facing camera, cross-legged on the edge of her unmade bed. Her fingers trembled as she reached forward and hit the Go Live button. No filters, no ring light, no lashes. Her eyes were bloodshot, the skin beneath them dark with exhaustion. Her once flawless lips were cracked, dry. Her voice barely made it past her lips at first. The number of viewers climbed rapidly. Notifications went off across the country. People paused what they were doing. Phones buzzed. Screens lit up. At Cardi P is live. She inhaled shakily. Her chest rose slowly, then fell. Hey, she began, voice fragile. I'm not going to take much of your time. More people flooded in. I don't have any cute outfits on, no sponsors, no makeup tutorial, no story time today. This is just me. She looked down briefly, biting her lip to stop it from quivering. I know a lot of you have seen the video. Yeah, that one. I know you've read the blogs. You've laughed at the memes. Some of you posted them yourselves. I saw. I see everything. But I'm not here to defend myself. She looked up directly into the camera lens. I'm here to tell the truth before I go. The chat exploded. Before you go? Cardi, what are you saying? Don't do anything dumb. Talk to someone, please. But she wasn't reading. She didn't want distractions. Let me tell you how it started. I just wanted to be noticed. That's all. I didn't care about the fame, not really. I just wanted someone to care that I existed. Someone to look at me and say she matters. So I gave them what they wanted. I gave you what you wanted. She laughed bitterly, wiping her nose. I showed skin, I flirted, I made you feel close to me, even when I was dying inside. And when it wasn't enough, I sold access. I pretended it was power. I said it was business, but I was just selling pieces of myself to people who never cared. Her voice cracked. I told girls to love themselves while I edited every single photo until I couldn't recognize the face in the mirror. I told you to stay real while I was living in a web of lies. Another tear slid down her cheek. And now I'm ruined. James left. My parents disowned me. Brands dropped me. The internet ate me alive. And I let it happen. I let social media become my identity. I let strangers shape my worth. She looked off screen for a second, then turned back. I'm not telling this story for sympathy. I'm already dead inside. I've been for a while. She inhaled again, this time more slowly, trying to calm the tremor in her jaw. I'm doing this so maybe one girl out there won't follow me down the same path. Maybe you delete that video before it's too late. Maybe you'll think twice before selling your soul for some likes. Maybe you'll stop performing and start living. The room was silent. She reached towards the nightstand, lifted a small glass bottle into frame. Rat poison, clear, unlabeled, quiet. She held it in her palm. Don't chase clout. Don't sell yourself for likes. Don't trade your body for validation. Because once they're done watching you, they don't care if you live or die. Her hand trembled as she unscrewed the bottle. She looked straight into the camera. I'm already gone. I just want peace now. The chat went wild. Cardi, please stop. Someone call the police. No, 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 no. This isn't the end. We love you. But it was too late. She raised the bottle to her lips and drank. It took seconds. Her face tensed. Her hand dropped the bottle. She slid back slowly against the headboard, her body curling in on itself, her eyes wide and wet. The camera kept rolling. The screen dimmed. And then, Cardi P slumped forward, her body limp. The stream ended. The screen faded to black.